does. Jesus saves.
You are listening to MTM Broadcasting Under Construction, where we are dropping the classic Christian music of yesterday, building your walk, and mixing it up the way that you approve.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Joe. Hey, will you be our friend?
Join us every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on KMTM for the morning show with friends. We have the encouraging power verses.
And we have coffee.
We have our daily bread.
Did I mention we have coffee?
Yes, you did. And we have the Charlie 4-pack.
Oh, that's the one where you vote for the song. Hey, did you tell them we got coffee?
Yes, I did. And we have so much more. Join us every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the morning show with friends on KMTM. And Joe, what about the coffee?
And we'll have coffee.
Hi, my name is Cheryl McKay, and I am the screenwriter, producer, and the showrunner of the new TV series called These Stones. It's on Up, Faith, and Family, and I so enjoy listening to The Morning Show and Friends with Joel and Joe.
And Joel, are you here? No, you're not. Oh, okay. This is going to be interesting. I don't have your mic plugged up. It's a different mic that you can't use. Okay. Well, yeah, I will switch it out here in just a minute. I think it's this one here. Yeah, push this button here. We're gonna put this one.
Big red button that says "Do not push."
That's the one I'm. That's the one I'm pushing.
Lean heavy into it.
That is the one I'm pushing.
I mean,
Come
sounds way more fun that way, anyway.
Well, Joe, what'd you break now?
I saw nothing. If I...
There.
Okay, yeah, I can hear it now.
All right. Now we can hear. That was my chance to keep them on mute, and I blew it.
Hey, you had your chance.
I did have my chance. All right, guys. This is Cup of Joe with.
Espresso
Guy, you
shots.
did it again.
Espresso. I can't talk. Espresso shots, Joel. And in the studio today we have retired Staff Sergeant Marcus Inman.
And he is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. I had back when we were kids. I had a different name for him.
Yeah. I think it was Space Cadet.
It was
Moron.
Space Cadet. Yeah.
Yeah, I never went to Space, man. So you were wrong.
No, you were there, man. Trust me. Anyway, two-time, two-tour veteran, and
Two Iraq, one Eastern Europe, but that one don't really count.
the Eastern Europe. Why? Because
I mean,
you had too much
does.
fun.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We're going to be talking about some of the different things with veterans. Now used to we would talk about back when we were doing this at the other station. We talked about benefits and all that. We've kind of expanded. We're going to be talking about benefits, but we're going to be talking about some other things. And if you guys have questions, feel free to message me here at joe@mtmministries.com with that question, or on one of our Facebook pages, The Morning Show with and Friends with Joel and Joe, or MTM Broadcasting. You can send messages that way as well. We do this once a month, the last Friday of the month. We have Marcus come in and talk about some different things, issues. And there is also a poll on our Facebook page, The Morning Show and Friends with Joel and Joe. And you can put on there, if you're a veteran, please put your information on there. There's even a spot, if I don't have the things that you're interested in, you can write it in or type it in. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're talking about today, Marcus, is you had called VA math.
Yes. Give me just a moment here.
All right. And now when you had told me about VA math, I'm like, oh, great. We got some type of algebraic thing here going. And I was clueless. Then I looked it up. And after I spent, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes reading and getting informed and all that, I was still clueless. That happened to be a real thing, by the way.
Yes, VA math is a very, very, very real thing. Sorry, I was trying to get my personal live stream going. For some reason, it didn't want to work on my tablet, so I had to switch over to the Telefono. So, anyway, yeah, this actually came up. I'm a member of different veterans groups for obvious reasons, and this came up because I put out a poll to go, hey, what kind of subjects would you like for me to speak about? And somebody said VA math, and I kind of giggled a little bit because this is, I think, where Common Core started. You know, in our school system, we have this Common Core, which most of us parents now that try to help our kids with their math homework,
Oh, it's a nightmare.
and they're in 5th grade,
Yeah.
and you can't even understand what the heck they're talking about. I mean, I went to college, and I'm like, what in the world is this silliness that's going on? And I'm pretty sure the VA started Common Core just because of the way they do math.
Well,
That- that's not spoken as an expert in the VA. That's spoken as an individual. Just
well,
so
no,
everybody
I'm
knows.
totally getting it because I can remember my dad trying to help me with math, and I got the right answers, but I got it the wrong way. I got it his way, and I flunked. I got an F because I didn't do it the school's way.
Right.
Right answers, wrong formula.
Right. So,
Yeah, I did show Dad that one. Here, you made me flunk this one, buddy.
You said algebra. Try doing algebra in Braille.
I was
That's,
is that a number or a letter? It's 4 dots.
yeah, really.
4 dots is this. Yes, you got it. You got bumps, English, and math.
It would take,
Right.
Like,
Texture.
it would take 5 sheets of paper and 1 hour to do one algebra problem.
Yeah, this is
Well,
why
that
we
made
do
the
it.
SATs easy, though,
Yeah,
right?
right. So now here's the thing on the VA math. So I did. I went to the page to me now. I'm not a veteran. I'm not a medical doctor. I've got no dog in this fight. Okay. I'm looking at this as, okay, I'm interested. I want to know what this is. And I'm going to tell you, when I left there, I was still just as confused as I was when I first started. So I went in knowing nothing. I was at 0 in knowledge. When I left, I was at -20 in knowledge. Okay,
Yes.
because their math doesn't add up. Okay, to me
we'll
now
break it down.
personally. Okay,
We'll break
to
it down.
Personally, to me, it looked like they were taking more away from the veteran than giving him what he deserves. That's what that's my outside looking in.
Well, and as an individual,
Now-
I feel the same way. And the reason I feel that way is the way that they try to, I'm trying to think of the right word to use, justify the way they do their math. Okay,
Right.
so we'll keep the numbers simple because I can't do math in my head if it's hard math. So we'll keep numbers
Yep.
real simple.
So now VA, first of all, what is VA math?
Well, it's kind of a slang term for the way that the VA calculates a veteran's disability.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, for example, I have multiple disabilities rated by the VA. These are things that has happened or are a result of my time in service.
Right.
And because the VA and as an individual, you have different parts of your body, different functions. They all have percentage rates. Okay, and they have this really big book. It's Title 38, Code of Federal Regulations. It's more specifically in Chapter 4, where they will break down each individual body part, and they actually have provisions in there. If this is happening, then it's this percentage. If this is happening, it's this percentage, and all the way up and down the line, right? Everything you can think of, from stubbing your pinky toe, which is not literal, but it feels that way, right, to cancer.
Okay,
I mean,
so
like literally these percentage rates are across the board for whatever condition and body part we're discussing.
okay, let's take. So I have a friend who was a Marine. Okay, he's in his
They
late
should
40s.
automatically get 50% because they're a Marine. And
Right.
they're-
Well,
eating all those crowns hurt.
but I am so not going there. But anyway, so I've got this friend. He has kidney issues as a result.
Okay.
Okay, so he is now just in the last year on disability.
Now is that with the VA?
No,
Just-
no. This is
Okay.
just, they've retired him from his job. He can't work no more. He's in the process of going through VA now.
Okay.
Okay, going through this number system.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
he's going through the process to get to the number.
Right. So
Right.
because he's actually on a list to get kidney transplant.
Okay.
Okay. So now with this, because VA's kicking in, to me, I'm thinking you're on a kidney transplant list. You're automatically going to be at 100%.
not necessarily.
Oh, this is one of the things that he was saying.
Well, and
so
and the,
explain this to
the
me.
step one piece to this is the kidney condition considered service connected? We're going to assume, for all intents and purposes, for this
right.
conversation, the answer to that is yes.
Correct.
All right. So when you get into the individual disability, it'll come down to a couple of things. Okay, how debilitating is that? How does it affect your ability to work and to function as a human being, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's where they come up with those percentage rates. And it's also going to come down to a specific type of diagnosis.
Okay.
All right. So all of those things are relevant to that percentage number.
Okay.
Okay. So not knowing all those moving parts, obviously, and I would have to look up the Code of Federal Regulations, to know, and also know more about the stuff like, oh, it's this condition, not this condition.
Okay.
Because they do break it down into conditions for certain body parts,
Right.
When we're getting into functional body systems, lungs, stomach, heart, kidneys, liver, things like that, it could be based on what test results are. If your test results are this, or if your liver or kidney function is this or below, it's this percentage. If it's this or below, it's this percentage. And then what you'll find is they do have convalescent ratings, meaning which, like, for...
What's a convalescent?
I was about to explain. So let's say, for example, you're rated for, or we'll use your friend, for example, he's rated for that kidney. They said yes, but they only gave him a 50% for whatever reason, okay? Just because he needs a transplant doesn't mean that the kidney prevents him from doing all this other stuff. It just says, hey, you need a new one. Okay. But he gets approved for said transplant and they do the surgery. Now, because it is a service-connected condition, because of that, the VA will give him a temporary 100% rating while he's recovering from that surgery.
Okay.
And then what will end up happening is after the surgery and after things have kind of settled, then they will reevaluate it and assign a more appropriate rating.
To find out if he's still at the 100% or actually the percentage needs to be decreased.
Yes.
Okay. Is that when they start doing the search, whether it was service related?
No, it would already have to be service
done.
connected before they do the temporary convalescent.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen individuals with a 10% rating for a knee go in for knee surgery because the recovery was going to take a couple of months. They got 100% for that knee for those couple of months. And then whenever they came back and they were reevaluated after surgery, then they get a 20% or a 0 because their knee got better.
Right, right.
Due to the surgery. So that is a thing. But, when we get into all that, there we go. I'm trying to get somebody.
So now when you have somebody who comes in, so there is that possibility you could be at 100% temporarily, to actually after a surgery they're saying,
gotcha, John.
Hey, you're
Trying
better
to
now,
anyway.
so let's bring it down. Let's bring that number down to maybe even a 0.
Yes, but it's still service connected.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of some of those moving parts. But to get more deep into the VA math piece, okay, I showed you right before we came on air. My personal, if you were to actually do the math that everybody
that math
in the world
don't line
does,
up what you showed me.
well, okay, so when you add the numbers, the way numbers get added,
Right. That's what
I
I'm
would be
saying.
150%.
Right.
But my VA rating is 90.
Yeah, that's
And everybody's like, why? Why can you do a 70 plus a 30 plus a 20 plus 3 10s and get 90?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the fun VA math comes in. So you start as 100% of a person when you show up to those first appointments.
It means 100% disabled.
No. 100%
Healthy.
able.
Okay,
Right?
100% healthy.
Yeah. I mean, you're not healthy. That's why you're in this
Right,
system.
but you're considered
you're
100%
considered that.
fine.
So my very first, we're going to use easy numbers because I don't want to break mine down. So let's say that you're rated at 50% for a condition. Okay. We'll say it's your back. Who cares what the condition
Let's
is?
do simple. We'll go back to Dad. Vietnam vet, 50%. We know the Agent Orange Has an effect
Well,
on his heart.
That has to do with service connection. It has nothing to do with the
Okay,
percentage.
so we're going.
It's literally the condition and how it affects you.
Oh, okay. So nothing
Okay.
with the service connection.
Service
at this point.
connection is established. That's why they're assigning the
I
percentage.
got you. Okay.
So let's say it's a 50% rating. Name the condition. It doesn't matter. It can be your eyeballs. It can be your left pinky toe. All right. The VA says 50%. So you're 100% of a person, and they take away 50% of that because you were rated at 50% disabled. Okay. That
Okay.
leaves 50% able
And they took. Why did they take the 50% away?
because you had that 50% disability, according to them.
Okay.
That math makes sense.
Okay. I
50
got
minus
you.
50
is 100
equals 50.
That
Or
yep.
100 minus 50 equals 50.
Yep.
You
I'm
know
with
what I mean.
I was
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I was using your brain for a moment.
That'll hurt.
Yeah, it did. It did. Now, let's say you get another 50% rating for a different condition. This is where it gets Common Core
So
government
if
math.
we add another
I-
condition,
We add another condition, and the VA says that's 50% disabling. Well, you
Okay.
already have 50% disability.
right?
But what they do is they go, but you've got 50% ability left,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to take 50% of that ability away.
Right.
So the original was a 50 out of 100. Now it's 50 out of 50, which is only 25 points.
wait a minute.
Yes.
Now my math says 50 out of 50 is 0.
Well, I get where you're at. That's normal people math.
Okay, but the VA says 50 out of 50. So we're taking 50% out of the 50.
That's left over.
So you're at 25%.
Yes, and
Okay.
the VA rounds up or down. In
So
this
it-
case, you would be 2 50s would literally equal
100.
80 for VA math.
Okay. Okay.
Because they only took 25 points the second time, not 50 points.
Okay, so
Because you had 50 points left, they had to take 50% of those points.
okay, which would leave me 25.
Right.
Right.
And then 100 minus 25 or
It's
20
75.
is 75, they round up to 80.
Okay, they round up to 80.
Yeah, they round
right.
up
They
or
round
down.
up or
Right.
down. Yeah, because if I was at 74, they'd round down to 70.
Yes.
I got you. Okay, I'm with you. Kind of.
And there's your VA math lesson. So, you know, you're right, Steph. I'm getting a couple of comments. You're right. This is a really awesome shirt. It
Oh
was
my
bought.
gosh.
This shirt was actually bought for me as a
Oh, your
retirement
DD
gift.
214?
Yeah, DD214
Alumni.
alumni.
Very cool.
You know,
I like
any of the
that.
veterans watching understand DD214 is paperwork you get when you get out of the
when you get
military.
out.
Yes, and this was bought for me by my best friend.
That will also be your piece of paper for your headstone.
And any VA benefits if you
Yep.
want that fancy
That will-
license plate.
That yes.
Here's a
true.
little nugget of knowledge for anybody listening. If you have one of those fancy pieces of paper called a DD214, do yourself a big favor, put it in a lockbox somewhere because everybody's going to ask for it.
Yes, they are.
And National Archives, they try their best to get you what they can get you whenever you order one, but it takes months.
And like on the funeral side, your family will be using the DD214 quite a bit as well. So it's
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it continues to be used even after you've passed.
Well, and so we can get into a little bit of that because, again, this is general conversation, right? Let's talk about the importance of that little piece of paper. A lot of people don't realize your state and your federal cemeteries for burial, as long as you qualify for that burial, you can pre-register. You can take your DD214. If you're married, take your marriage license as well because your spouse can actually be buried with you. So you can go get pre-registered, fill out their form. That way, when that time ultimately comes, your family's not stuck searching for paperwork and all that. And then that way, the funeral home that handles the funeral can just reach out to that veteran's cemetery and make sure that everything's good to go for the date that you can be laid to rest.
Yes.
So, kind of a little nugget of knowledge there. Keep that piece of paper close, though.
Keep it very close. The DD214 is because veterans also can receive. You're going to need that if you're going to be buried in a veteran cemetery. You're going to need that DD214. Also, if you're not going to be buried into a cemetery, but into a veteran cemetery, you're going to be buried into a non-endowed or an endowed cemetery. They're going to require your DD214 from the family to get a free marker for your grave. They don't have to buy the marker. You have a choice depending on the cemetery, whether you get an upright white one that you see over in Maryland, over there, or a flat bronze. That does not include the granite. FYI, you've seen the bronze and the granite laid flat in the.
Yeah.
That's just your bronze. That is not the granite. The rock's separate. Just to help some families out. I've dealt with a lot of families on that side of the issue.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
that's one that I actually didn't know
Yeah.
because as many of those folks that I've helped order those things, I didn't realize it didn't come with the stone. It's just the placard.
Just the placard. Now, a lot of guys will take, like, especially in your non-endowed, you're not supposed to do this, but if you have like a marker for your gravestone already, you're not supposed to get one.
That's actually a question on the form. Is the site already marked?
Yes.
And if you answer yes, they're going to tell you no.
You don't get one then.
Yes.
Now, what I have seen, because they would say no and maybe get one later. That's been done.
Yep.
And then they would put it as a foot marker if the cemetery allows it. So just FYI.
Morning,
give you
Nick.
some
Good
education.
seeing you on here.
Guys, if you have any questions for Marcus on anything of the veterans, please feel free to message us.
I've got it live here. I know
TikTok
I'm
on
live over
MTM
here.
Broadcasting.
Is this the tiki-taki?
This is the TikTok right there.
I
You
don't
also are
I don't
live.
do a lot of tiki-taki.
You are also live on YouTube under MTM Broadcasting and a
You
couple of
must
different
have the
Facebook
beauty
pages.
filter on this thing.
I do.
I am looking amazing.
Well,
in
you're
this
an ugly transvestite. That's what you are on there.
I do not make a
because-
very good-looking lady.
No, I do not either. But the natural frame is ugly. So maybe that's just me. I don't.
It's
know.
the lighting. Blame the lighting.
You
Blame the
know,
lighting.
Joel said I look good, but can you really trust a blind guy at that point? But anyway,
Morning, Jeremy. Good morning.
So with the benefits, with the veterans and the things, but like I said, if you do have a question, feel free to post on
Did
there so
I
we can see
help
'em.
you with your VA math question?
No, because it makes no
it's so
sense.
confusing. So basically, what happens is 100%.
I-
Right? Think of it in points. Points and percentages.
Because you
you have 100 points.
I grabbed that.
Minus
I grabbed that.
50%, however many points are left over, whatever the next assignment is.
So
and you always start at the biggest number and work your way down.
So you walk in
If
at
you
a-
have a 50 and a 20 and a 10, you always start. Take the 50 away first, take the 20 away next, then take the 10 away.
Yeah, you see,
And that's
I
because
mean, I probably could get closer to it now than when I started out.
I use my.
But you do. But it is like they give you so you come in healthy at 100, not 100%.
100%
Whatever
of a person.
Yes,
but yes.
you are 100 person.
Yeah. 100 points. I call
okay.
it points. It's easier to
Okay, you're
explain as
100 points.
And then they take away 50%
because of your
those
health
points.
condition, whatever that may be.
Yes.
Easy math here, guys. They take, now we're into 50%
of the 100 points.
of the 100 points. So
And
now
then-
you're at 50 points.
Yes, and then whatever the next number is, percentage rate, like let's say it's 20%.
If they take, so you're
It's
at
20% of the points left over,
right, which is 50, and then they take 20%,
which is 10 points.
10 points.
Off
So
of
now
50.
you're at 40.
Remaining, and then you have to turn around and do the math backwards from the 100.
See,
to
this
your
is
overall.
where it gets me right there.
Here's a cool little resource. It's called Hill and Pontoon. I think Pontoon. It might. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way. They have a VA disability calculator. You can literally go in there and punch in your percentage rates. They keep it very up to date, which is really
Now, wait a
awesome.
minute, give me that again.
Hill-
HILLAND.
And yeah, Pontoon or something like that. I say Google that. VA disability calculator also helps if you go to Google's. And the reason I say that is because their calculator is probably one of the best ones I've seen on the interwebs. So you can go in there and you can start calculating your individual percentages, because I'm not going to try to blow everybody's mind when we get into the bilateral factor and things like that, which adds extra percentage points. It's like a 1.2 or 2.5%. You may just want to look up their website, dude. first.
Well, I did not. So here's what I'm going to do: is I'm going to go over here to Google.
But their website, as far as the VA disability calculator, is excellent. Their VA disability calculator is really awesome. The other side of that is, if you're using their website, they're a good resource for the disability calculator, but some of their information in their website's dated, so it's not completely accurate as far as, hey, this is the rating for this or rating for that. There it is, right there, at the very
Yeah,
top one.
Hill and okay. So what I'm going to do?
Ponton.
Ponton. I'm gonna. I'll just go there. I'm going to put this on our
There you go.
Facebook page.
There you go.
And this way, if any veteran would like to, I gotta go to the
How much
MTN.
time do we got, man?
We've got about another. What in the world? Okay, no, I don't want to join the group. There we go. Paste. Okay.
So, well, because I wanted to talk about something that I personally experienced not too long ago. Actually, it was last week.
They have a question. What is? I don't. Why is that coming up?
because they asked some questions. I
That
don't
was
know.
about radio, though.
Oh, I don't. Your algorithms, man.
Oh,
You
it
tell
says
me.
free. Oh, wait a minute. There. Oh, never mind. I gotta delete that. I put it on the wrong page. That's why they're asking.
Oh,
the
smart.
questions.
So last week or the week before, I went to go see my VA medical provider, and it was a new provider to me. And quite frankly, it is absolutely 100% the worst experience I've ever had at a VA doctor's appointment.
Okay, so now what?
And I want to discuss this because I want to discuss how to handle these situations. I have been involved in the VA medical system since probably 2010. So I've got a good 14 years of working in the VA medical system as a patient, right? Mm-hmm. This is the first time that I have dealt with where I've dealt with like what I would call bad service.
Okay, so
Okay.
now.
So for 14 years, I've gotten quality service. That doesn't mean I always liked my doctor. I had one doctor I absolutely did not like, but it wasn't because he wasn't doing a good job as a doctor. It's just, I just didn't like the dude. It just is what it is, right? But in this situation, I felt as if this doctor absolutely 100% dismissed everything I brought up.
Okay. Now here's what I'm now, Mark, because I am not a veteran.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of veterans say this.
Well, there's a difference between actually being ignored and getting what you want. And I think that there's
and I think that needs to be brought out.
Yeah, because again, working in the industry I worked in for a decade as a veteran service officer, right? What I learned is there are a certain percentage of veterans, and you guys can be mad at me all you want. I don't care. I'm one of you, that feel entitled.
Yes.
That they think just because they're a veteran that everything should just go their way. And I'm sorry, that's just not life, period. End of story. A lot of people would get mad at me when I would make the comment because I worked with veterans all day, every day. They're like, well, I'm a veteran. Well, so is everybody else that walks in my office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so not meaning that you're not important, but you don't necessarily get priority due to that reason.
Right.
You know, because there's some triage in the case management world as much as there is, I'm sure, in the medical world, right? So, so there's a difference between feeling completely ignored, and I'll tell my story, it's fine, and just not getting what you want.
Right. See, now Dad would make the statement that he never had an issue with going in, but I think also he didn't have that entitlement. In his
Yeah,
head
Pops
either.
never had that.
He never
How
had
many
that
years did it
entitlement.
take us to get him to start? going in?
That's
Let's start
exactly
with
it.
that.
That's exactly it.
So this is kind of my thing with that because I have went to the doctor and didn't get an answer I liked
right.
or the answer I wanted, but my request was not necessarily ignored. You know, these are medical professionals, they should be. Medical professionals, these folks should know what they're doing. Yes, I get it. You know your body better than they do because it's your body, so you know when something's wrong.
Right.
However, when they go, hey, maybe you should try this after they've actually listened to you and you're just like, no, I want the meds, that doesn't mean you got a bad doctor.
No, that does not.
That just means you didn't get what you asked for. And there's a difference. And what I mean by I felt completely ignored, I'll just explain my story because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever dealt with this. And then I'll tell you how I handled it because I think that goes a long way as well.
But you
All
first
right.
got to get that entitlement out of your head.
Right, right. So I go to the nurse station first, right? They do, I hadn't been in for a while. This is like an annual checkup for me. So they go in, they do my vitals, and then they go, hey, why are you in here? I said, hey, I've been having this go on, and I was formally diagnosed with this. I need some support with that. And they wrote it all down on this piece of paper. I can see said piece of paper. Doc comes in, grabs a piece of paper. We go to the doctor's office. Now, a week prior to that, I had went and got labs, okay? That way they had those ready for reading.
Right.
I go in. They're like, hey, what about this med? Are you taking it? I said, actually, I'm horrible at taking meds, but I'm really trying to focus on my personal health now because I have the time and the effort and I'm getting old, so I probably should if I plan on living for another 5 or 6 years. They're like, okay. Well, why do you have 2 of these meds? Now, in my medication lineup, and I'm a very honest person, I have one because I have high cholesterol. Apparently, I like bacon and butter.
Yeah, that's a true. That's a true statement.
2, I have high blood pressure, so I'm a high blood pressure medication, and I have a diagnosed PTSD. I have severe anxiety issues. A lot of people don't realize this.
And I just want you guys to know I'm not the one who gave it to him growing up.
You might be a contributing
I
factor.
doubt it.
But my anxiety's gotten worse the older I've gotten, I think. But because of that, I've been prescribed a medication as needed for that anxiety. But that medication label use is blood pressure. Its off-label use is anxiety. And it works for me. It's non-narcotic. It doesn't make me feel altered.
Right.
None of that. It just slows me down, and it works well for me.
Right.
Okay. 90% of the time. That doctor's like, well, you don't need 2 blood pressure medications. I'm going to cancel this one, which happens to be my anxiety pills.
Your chill out bill.
Yeah, my crazy pills, as I like to call them. And I go, that's my anxiety pill for off-label use. I use that more than anything. Well, you'll just have to talk to your mental health team and get them to redo it. I just canceled it.
That went well.
Oh, immediately I'm angry. But I was medicated before I walked in.
That was a
That helps.
good thing for the
So,
doctor.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there. And then it's like they wanted to end the actual appointment. I had other things on the list I wanted to discuss. I messed up my shoulder and my elbow. It's not related to the military, but the VA medical system will see you for stuff that's not military related.
Because you are formerly military.
Right.
or
It's
whatever,
just one of the
yeah.
benefits that we currently have as a veteran. They didn't ask anything about that. There was another thing I put on there. I have a weird thing with my vision. Not because I need glasses. It's just something weird that's happening that I think is physiological because it's my body. I know my body, right? Didn't even ask about it. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I'm like, hey, how do I get a CPAP? Didn't even ask about it. This is on a piece of paper in front of the person. They're ready to end the appointment. We went over your meds. We're good. By the way, I canceled the one you use the most. So then I go, well, what about this? You know, we had a brief discussion. They said, bring the test results. Mind you, the test results are in their system, but I'm like, whatever. Okay? Get it? You don't want to go back a month worth of paperwork. Whatever. And then I was like, well, what about this? Now, talking about my shoulder and my arm. They're like, well, what's wrong? And I said, well, I move it this way, it hurts. When I move it this way, it's not too bad.
They
come
didn't
up-
say don't move it that way, did they?
No.
Okay, good.
They looked at me and they go, well, you probably just need to strengthen your shoulder and your elbow. And I kind of laughed a little bit. I'm in the gym 4 days a week at least. 3 to 5 days a week I'm in the gym. Okay? I've put on almost 10 pounds of mass in the last year. Muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to make it stronger.
You need to make it. How do you do that? After everything.
Apparently
you've
it's
already
just
been doing?
physical therapy. And I'm like, I'm not sure because I move those body parts a lot. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. But maybe, and I looked at him and I said, maybe, I don't know, we should see if there's a pinched nerve in there or see if there's like something tied up or if there's like a joint issue because it's right in the
Now-
joints. And all they said is, nope, you just need physical therapy. That was the end of the conversation. They're just like, physical therapy.
So do you think it is because they're overbooked?
I do believe that plays a role, but here's the thing. It's hard to blame the VA specifically or the doctor specifically for
And that's
overbooking.
kind of where I was going.
I will blame the VA, and this is why. Their onboarding process is crap when it comes to doctors.
So how do you fix that?
I don't know how they can fix that because,
More doctors?
well, yeah, great. Here's the thing. Imagine you're a doctor. Imagine you apply to go to work for the VA. and you're wanting to go to work in the medical field. We'll just say you just graduated. You apply to go to work for the VA. You have a medical degree. Doctors are short all across the U.S.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
The VA's onboarding system can take up to 4 months to onboard somebody
Good grief.
between background checks and this and that and the other. Now, if you're a doctor, you're getting more than one offer. You don't even have to be a good doctor to get more than one offer. So why should you wait for 4 months to maybe get this job when you've got 3 other people that's probably offering you more money?
Right. Right. So
it's a process issue.
So
It's
my
the onboarding
question,
issue.
so here it is, and I'm going to complain for a moment. We've only got a few minutes left, guys. But so I'm going to complain for just a moment, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus. But so we sent, I didn't send, but we sent billions of dollars to Ukraine when we could have used that money into our VA.
Could we? Sure, but is that going to fix the process?
That's
of them
my
doing all
next
that?
question. Because if we bring in the money, even though and offer the doctors more who would be more attentive to our vets,
Well, it's supply demand.
well, we got a lot.
There's
of,
a lot
we
of
got
veterans,
a lot of
and there's only so many spaces. I mean, people want to. Not trying to get into politics because
Right.
that's not what this is about.
Right,
But people want to
exactly.
talk about national health care.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the system would work in real life.
Oh, absolutely.
Go talk to veterans that deal with the VA.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm not putting the VA down.
No,
or
no.
the individuals that work for the VA, because I will honestly tell you, in my experience working with individuals within the VA that work in the hospital system, cemetery system, administrative system, 98% of these people actually want to help.
Right, right.
They actually are there to try to help you out. I know a lot of vets are like, they're just trying to screw me. No, it's red tape that gets you. That individual that's
Government red
doing
tape.
their piece, they've got left and right limits that they can't cross. They may believe you, but because this doesn't fit into the left and right
Right,
limits, they can't do anything
They're
about it.
limited at that
You know,
point.
but back to what I was saying. How did I handle this situation? There was another one that was ridiculous. I have this vision issue that's happening. It's been going on for like a year. I talked to my mental health provider because I thought I had to deal with that. They're like, you should probably talk to your primary care and get your brain scanned because what I'm dealing with is signs of tumors. I'm not trying to freak anybody out.
Right.
That's not what I'm trying to do, but it could be that. So you may want to talk to them about get that checked out. This doctor looks at me and goes, well, you just need to go to optometry. I'm like, how does hallucinations deal with optometry?
So what they basically
I
do
need-
is they're sending you down to it's kind of like working on a car. I got a light out. Okay, let's check the bulb first.
Right.
So let's start with the eyes here and work our way back.
Yeah, but I've already got glasses. I've already got a system. Like, again, hallucinations and optometry. It's not a floater.
I mean, I'm just
I mean,
trying
you
to figure
feel
out
like
their,
you're
I'm
getting
just trying
pushed
to figure
away.
out their
Now, this is
system
the
here.
only time in 14 years I've dealt with this.
Right.
The only time in 14 years. I will say that, and I'll say that more than once. In 14 years, the only time. So what do? After taking a few deep breaths, thank God I was medicated. When I go up front, I look at the lady up front. I said, I'm not dealing with this doctor again. I said, I was ignored. My issues just seem to be pushed on. And I either want a second opinion or a different doctor. Week later, they call me. I have appointments with a different doctor. So they handled the issue, but I also didn't throw a fit.
Right.
I didn't act like a fool.
Right.
You know, I didn't have that entitlement. I just knew that doctor and me probably weren't going to work out.
Right.
Because let's say I was to go back. Oh, yeah, and then they scheduled my follow-up appointment for a year and a half later.
Holy cow! A year and
That
a
doctor.
half
That
later.
doctor. That doctor.
That doctor.
Well, they
did.
scheduled it for November of next year, or was trying to.
My goodness.
You know, so, but I handled it by being professional,
Right.
being a reasonable human being going, this ain't going to work. I feel like I was disregarded. So if you're listening, one, and you're a veteran, you're not entitled. Everybody that goes into that office, surprise, they are one too. Number two, if you deal with these issues, bring them up. Don't hold it. Turning around and going and complain to your buddies because you had a crappy experience at the VA doesn't help your crappy experience unless you fix it in the office the day it happens.
Right. Right. instead of going to complain about it, take care of it like an adult.
Yes. You know,
I
sit
get
there
that.
throwing a
I
fit,
get that.
yelling and screaming don't help. So what I'm saying is, I don't even know what I'm really saying here other than you're going to have a bad time every once in a while. For 14 years, I've had nothing but positive
But act
experiences.
appropriately.
Act appropriately.
Don't join the band because you don't need to be a Karen or a Kevin, man. Just go up you're military, so you're used to going up command. I would think.
You would think.
Again, I would think. I'm not military, but I
mean,
would think.
I mean, the problem is people don't see it as a command structure.
Okay, because they're out of the military now.
No, it's because one of the things in the military is like you could be military and I could be military. We could both be in the Army. I'm infantry. You're a tanker. You drive tanks.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in my chain of command. I don't care about you.
Okay, I get that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So here's a
Okay.
fun story. You'll love this. You'll love this if we got enough time. You'll love it because it deals with our sister.
Oh boy,
You're gonna love this. right?
our sister was Air Force.
She was, and her husband retired very, very high.
very
ranking.
high in Air
Right.
Force.
So, without going into names and ranks and all that, but very, very established
Yes.
high rank in the Air Force. So,
Yes, played the
our
game too.
stepfather, our mother, because we're half brothers,
Mhm.
her husband had passed away. Now, we're at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is a big 82nd Airborne Army base, right? Special Forces, all this stuff. Well, because he had passed away, he was a Vietnam veteran, he wanted to be buried in a uniform, and he was not a small man. So we're trying to find a uniform for him. So this is like an all-day trip, right? It's just, and it's aggravating. We were calling this place, going to this place. She's like, I swear, this next place we go into, I'm going to tell them that I am such and such's wife. And I laugh at her. And she's like, what? I was like, you do realize two things are going to happen here. Number one, you're on an Army base.
Yeah,
Your husband's in the Air Force. The rank he has, which at that time was Command Chief Master Sergeant, okay? That rank is a Sergeant Major in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But we don't call it Command Chief, and I'll venture to say 70% of the Army probably don't know what a Command Chief Master Sergeant is.
'Cause that's
It
an Air
sounds-
Force
It
thing.
sounds made up. Because we're used to a Sergeant Major. Now, if you're saying, hey, my husband's Sergeant Major,
Now you have
somebody's
some pack in
attention.
there. Yeah.
She's like, I'm just going to tell him it's entitlement. Back to this entitlement thing, right? I'm going to tell him my husband's Command Chief this. And I was like, number one, they're not even going to know what the heck you're talking about. I was like, and number two, of the ones that do, they're going to look at you and be like, not my chain of command.
Yeah, not
I
my
don't
problem.
care."
Yep.
She's like, really? I was like, yeah. That's how it works in the real military.
Welcome to the-
No offense to the Air Force out there.
I'm like, I'm not
You guys
going
are
there
cool.
at all, man.
So-
you just ticked off half the military right there,
Right,
Air
right.
Force.
I'm not trying to put you
Yeah,
guys down.
did she do it?
No.
Okay,
I
good.
shut it down.
You
We
did-
were in the
okay,
car
good.
when it was happening.
was like,
I just laughed
"Woo!"
at her. I was like,
because
yeah,
I can see Tanya doing that. That's why I
she
was
said
like,
it was a hard curve when she got to Springfield because Springfield's not a military town. She's
Yeah,
like,
no.
well, my husband's this. They're like,
and
is
what's
that
your
in the
point?
fire department? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally
they
different
didn't,
world.
They didn't have a clue, and she's like, it was really weird. I was
Yeah.
because sheltered life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't even get me started on dependopotamuses.
We'll do dependopotamuses on the next one.
Okay.
Hey guys, listen, we are out of here. Listen, you got any questions?
Thanks, guys.
Here's what I want you to do: is I want you to send me an email with any questions dealing
Yes,
with
please.
military issues, things for our veterans, for our VA, on VA, whatever, government, whatever. We are open to any of the topics, homelessness, because you were on the board of.
I am
Veterans
actually the
Homelessness
chairperson of the Homeless Veterans Task Force here in the Springfield, Missouri
in the Springfield,
area.
Missouri area.
You know, and so if you want to get involved, we'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're outside of this area, look in your local community because the VFW does great things in their communities.
Yes.
The DAV
Yes.
does great things in their
Yes,
communities.
absolutely.
AMVETS, you know, there's a lot of great organizations, and you don't have to be like a combat veteran. Now, to be VFW, yes.
Mm-hmm.
To do like AMVETS, no. You could have been a peacetime and go to AMVETS and be part of their organization and
Right.
still do those great things.
I know
So-
used to little town not too far from here back when I was before I started going to church. The VFW, I was a member of the VFW, which they had a little bar.
Well, you were the
and all that.
auxiliary.
I was an auxiliary.
Yes.
Because I was a
Veterans
a
kid.
veterans kid.
Right,
You know,
right.
so even you guys, and there are other groups out there. If you are a veterans kid, even grandkid, of certain veterans groups, you can get involved.
Yeah, if you want to get involved in veterans issues, veterans stuff,
There's
You know,
tons of groups out there to
tons
join.
of groups, and really, look at the VFW. The VFW is not what you think it is. It's not a whole bunch of dudes sitting over there just drinking beers.
No,
I mean, some of them may have that, but
there's several of them there.
But like the one I'm a member of, the majority of the I call them staff, but the
yeah,
organizational heads,
Mhm.
they're all post 9/11
yeah,
veterans. They're all Afghanistan, Iraq.
yeah, because we're
vets,
losing more,
you know.
more of our Vietnam vets.
Yeah, so I mean,
Do we have any World War II vets left?
Man, I haven't. When I left the commission, I hadn't worked with an actual World War II veteran in a while. Now, one of my office partners, he was working with a gentleman that was 100 years old, a Marine, and was on like
Good
Iwo Jima or
night.
something like that.
Wow.
And that dude came in and out on his own. Like,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah, they'd have to be in their hundreds by now.
he was 100.
Yeah. All right, guys, listen, we are out of here. We want to thank Marcus for coming in. Don't forget, you can email us at joe@mtmministries.com. You can also send us a message on our Facebook page, which is MTM Broadcasting, or our group page, which is The Morning Show and Friends with Joel and Joe. And we will get those questions. Marcus will be back the last Friday.
No, it will not be the last Friday. It's going to be the 22nd. Pull up your count. Oh, no, last Friday, I was, for some reason, I thought it was October already. No, last Friday in October. And I think we're going to focus on mental health next month.
Mental health?
Yes.
Okay. So
With holidays coming up, I think a
I
good
think that's
focus.
a great idea.
Mental
health,
on the mental
the
health,
last
because
Friday of
suicide
October.
rates in society as a whole, not just counting veterans, as a whole goes up during the holiday season.
So any questions, any thoughts, please feel free to contact us. We would love to have your information. We come back, we're gonna be praying out of here. Mark, thanks for coming up, buddy.
Yep, no worries, man. That's what I'm here for.
Coming up, David Meese, the Unknown Soldier.